Hello and welcome back to Shakesyear. We are working on Troilus and Cressida, and we are still in this very, very long Act 1, Scene 3. It does end, I promise, just not today. Today we get to hear from Nestor, who's the very, very old guy that's been hanging out with all of the rest of them. So we started out the scene, we're in the Greek camp, and the Greeks were sort of complaining that they haven't won this war yet, but they believe that it's because there's so much unrest and infighting and uncertainty and lack of clarity in the Greek army. And also, like, Achilles and his guy Patroclus keep doing these caricature impressions of all of the Grecian leaders, and to some extent Ajax is doing it too, to the point where the regular soldiers are so used to laughing at the mannerisms of their commanders that they don't actually listen to what the commanders have to say. They don't think that strategy is necessary and all of that sort of thing. So they're talking about all of that, and then Aeneas, who is a messenger from Troy, shows up, and his message to them is that Hector, one of the Trojan princes, is getting bored. Troy has been under siege for like 7 years. Hector's getting bored with this whole thing, so he issues a challenge to whatever Grecian fighter wants to come and face him. They can have a battle like tomorrow morning, just one-on-one, Grecian champion versus Hector, the Trojan champion. So Agamemnon and Menelaus and some others take Aeneas. They're like, you can dine with us before you go back to Troy. They take him and they leave the stage. But Ulysses holds Nestor back, and he's like, I have a little bit of a thought here that I need to run by you. And Nestor's like, yeah, sure, whatever. And Hector's like, it's pretty clear that this is a challenge that's being issued to Achilles, right? Like, they're saying it's for anybody, but it's pretty clear that Hector wants to fight Achilles, right? Like, did you get that too? And Nestor says, yes, 'tis most meet. Who may you else oppose that can from Hector bring his honor off, if not Achilles? Though it be a sportful combat, yet in this trial much opinion dwells. For here the Trojans taste our dearest repute with their finest palate. And, trust to me, Ulysses, our imputation shall be oddly poised in this wild action. For the success, although particular, shall give a scantling of good or bad unto the general. And in such indexes, although small pricks to their subsequent volumes, there is seen the baby figure of the giant mass of things to come at large. It is supposed he that meets Hector issues from our choice, and choice, being mutual act of all our souls, makes merit her election, and doth boil, as 'twere, from forth us all, a man distilled out of our virtues, who, miscarrying, what heart from hence receives the conquering part, to steal a strong opinion to themselves, which entertained, limbs are in his instruments, in no less working than our swords and bows directive by the limbs. So what Nestor's saying here actually makes sense, which is maybe a little bit of a departure for Nestor. But first he agrees, like, yes, this is a challenge from Hector to Achilles, because who else do we even have that could take on Achilles? But then he goes into the importance and the symbolism of this battle a little bit more. He's saying that, whether this battle ends in our favor or doesn't end in our favor, people are going to interpret the results of this battle as the potential results for the rest of the war, because they're going to assume that whoever we send, we elected to send to go fight Hector, thinking that that person could win. So whoever we send is supposed to be like the best of the best, the one to represent us all, to be, the ultimate Greek fighter. And if he goes out there and wins, then that's going to show that maybe we have the chance to beat Troy. If he goes out there and loses, then that can also be a very big blow to internal morale and self-esteem and motivation for the rest of the soldiers to go out and continue to fight against Troy. So yeah, this is like, we kind of have to send Achilles because he's going to be the best representative of all of us. And Ulysses is like, but do we really? Because do we really? And Nestor's like, I'm going to need a little bit more than that. So of course Ulysses explains his thoughts a little bit more in a monologue, which we'll get to hear tomorrow. I'll see you then for that. Mwah.